What up, y'all? This is Coach Vassar with the OTF Audio Daily Beats. Thank you for joining in. If you're new to these, I'm gonna give you a little breakdown of the workout of the day. If you find value in these, information is in the description to support me. Completely optional, don't have to, but I appreciate the heck out of you who have. And that way I could continue to pass on my knowledge and also improve how I tackle these. So yeah, this is going to be Tuesday, September 17th, which will repeat on Monday, September 30th. We'll go a little bit over everything, and then treads, rower weight floor, any differences in 3G, and then get you on out of here. So we're going to see power on the treads, strength rowing, and endurance on the weight floor. On the treads, we're going to have 3 blocks today for a total of 9 all outs. And as you move through each block, can you increase your all out? For the rower, you got a 20-stroke push row every row today. And your goal is to keep the intensity up each time. And then on the floor, you got 3 pairs of back-to-backs. Each pair combines lower and upper body movements that improve coordination via alternating and reciprocating exercises. Ooh, so people are gonna have to use those brain cells, hopefully. So as we look at the treads, in total, 3 blocks. Every block will start with a buy-in. The buy-ins do get shorter, and then there are 3 all-outs following that. The goal, of course, is to maintain or increase the intensity within the block. So block 1, we're gonna start with a 2-minute push, 1-minute base. After the 1-minute base, it's 1 minute all out, 1 minute walk recovery, 3 rounds. One thing to kind of be aware of is even though the push decreases, there's no true call out for the push. So let members play around with it. They're not looking to increase it or maintain it. There's no goal specific for the push today. Power walkers, 5% or greater, joggers and runners, they can start anywhere from 1 to 2 of their base. Bikes and striders, I'd probably start 3 to 5 gears. Obviously 3 to 6 is kind of a dumb thing to have them do at the beginning. So 3, 4, maybe 5 at most for this 2 minutes. Hopefully they're hitting that orange about a minute to 90 seconds in. They coast through holding that base, and then that first all out is after 3 minutes of movement. So hopefully they're hitting at the very least, 2 above their base speed. Hopefully 10% or greater if they power walk, maybe increase walk speed. And then on the bikes, RPMs stay above 60 as they hit 6 gears over base. With that 1 minute walk recovery, they're now at 4 minutes of work. Hopefully they need that 1 minute to rest. That way they could at least maintain or increase the all outs. This is where playing around with music is very helpful, where, during these walk recoveries, scale back the music a little bit, kind of lower the intensity in the room that way. And then when it's time to go for their all out, bring that music back up. Since that's going to be a driving force for a lot of people on the treads, on the weight floor, they're not going to pay any mind to that. If they maintain their all-outs for all 3, when they move to block 2, the all-outs are shorter. So at the very least, they should go to a higher intensity all-out and at least maintain that for those 3 times. Push is going to drop down to 90 seconds instead of a minute. And then the all-outs are 45 seconds. They still get a 1 minute walk recovery. Now that the rest skews more than the work, it's going to be a lot easier for members to try to increase the all-outs. And then the third block, shortest push of the day, it's 1 minute base, and then 30-second all-outs, 1 minute walk recoveries. Same thing 3 times. Those are your 9 all-outs for the day. So 3 at 1 minute, 3 at 45, 3 at 30. This is one where the idea of practice, perfect, perform also comes into a play. So, that first attempt, practice this all out, build confidence when you do it again, and then when you perform, at very least maintain or truly perform and do better, bump it up by 0.1 to 0.3 or more. And then check in with the members, who maintained. Good job, Sally. Way to hold that 7. Who increased? Love that you bumped it up by 0.5, Brad. Excellent job. Give those call outs, give them that recognition of their hard work that they did. And then finally, once again, the focus is on the all outs, not the pushes, not necessarily the bases. So at the very least, maintain push. Just repeat what they did for the 2 minutes into the 90, into the 1 minute. It's not that big of a deal. If anything, treat it as a way for them to kind of keep the engine warm. So that way they're more efficient when they get into those all outs. When we look at block 2, when we look at the floor side, block 1 over there, 16 minutes, 15 seconds, they're gonna see 3 back-to-backs. Each back-to-back is gonna be paired up of a lower body and an upper body movement, anywhere from 12 to 20 reps. Ideally, they do both exercises, they rest, do them again, then move to the next pair. So we're gonna see alternating step down toe taps and then the reciprocating chest press, and then alternating transverse squat, reciprocating row, alternating single leg deadlift, and reciprocating shoulder press. If they complete all 3 back-to-backs, they'll do all 6 movements as one big block. So obviously lower body stuff is gonna be alternating, so 12 to 20 reps total, 6 to 10 per side. For the goblet step down toe tap, a great analogy for this one is as they start at the top of the bench, they're stepping off like they're trying to dip their toe into the swimming pool, and then right back up, so minimal contact to the floor. Do a full demo for that, partial demo for the reciprocating chest press, full demo for the squat and the row, partial for the deadlift and the shoulder press. Options are pretty much all body weight or strap variations of these exercises. Alternating, reciprocating, no matter what, it's a lot of core engagement. So while we don't see any core specific movements, core is being braced to maintain spinal alignment. So as they're doing those step downs, we're trying to not have things rotate. Same thing with the reciprocating movements. We don't want to twist as we're pressing and pulling. We're trying to keep it stable as just the arms move. So counter rotation is kind of like the focus for that. Same thing with the alternating transverse squat. So as they step and they move around, we want to think about having the shoulders and the hips move together rather than having them move separately. When I do setups for that transverse squat, I actually like to either use the edge of the bench or the kneeling pad and use that as a position and setup. So if I'm standing here and the bench is here, my feet are gonna go around the bench or around the mat. That way I'm not going straight down. So you kind of arc the feet to get that rotational position in with it. Feet will start at 12, one foot steps out to 3, comes back to 9, whatever way kind of helps with you. That's it for the first block on the floor. It's very, very simple movement patterns. Step down toe taps, obviously that's going to be a tough one on people's balance because they will tend to put a lot of weight on that back foot when they step down. Majority of their body weight should stay on that bench. Reciprocating chest press, one up, one down. They swap places. Imagine like they're moving like a pulley. Transverse squat, talked about that. Make sure hips and shoulders move together as they rotate. Reciprocating row, same thing as the press, but now we're driving that elbow back and they switch at the same time. Alternating single leg deadlift. This is with 2 dumbbells, so you're gonna have one weight in each hand. I like to have people do like an alternating split stance deadlift. So they'll have their feet staggered. So they'll start up here, they'll have one foot back, they hinge back, stand up tall, they could switch, and then the other side. That way if they have any balance issues, they can still incorporate weights. They do mention, using the strap, but sometimes people put too much reliance on the strap, and that's not a good thing. They still want the strength component from it. Reciprocating shoulder press, the big thing here is you'll see people tend to lean as they press up. So once again, locking in those abs, think bottom rib, top of the hips, kind of minimize space as they press and switch. After that, they have 90 seconds to get set up for their second block on the floor, which is technically a rowing block. So they're gonna take dumbbells over to their rower. They're gonna do anywhere from 12 to 20 alternating hammer curls. So use a light to moderate weight. Elbows are glued at the side, dumbbell comes up, kiss the front of the shoulder, all the way back down, the other side. Key thing for curls is we wanna think about trying to keep the shoulder and elbow in line as they come up. So we don't wanna have that elbow carry forward too much, because then you're using more of that shoulder to get the weight up rather than getting that curl from the bicep. If anything, one cue that I found super helpful to add a better challenge is if people have a slight hinge forward. So that way when they are curling that weight, when they get here, it stays under load. If they're upright, it kind of stacks over the elbow and they could just kind of hang out here. But if they're just slightly hinged forward as they do it, that's gonna keep that tension on the forearm and on the bicep, and they'll get a much bigger burn from that. When they hop on the rower, it's a 20-stroke push row. Maintain intensity on the row, so we're looking for strength here, maybe 20 to 24 strokes per minute, so it should take about 45 seconds to a minute to complete. They'll rest and then do it again. With a 5.5 minute block, we'll probably get 2 rounds in. So on the second attempt of that push row, maintain an intensity. It could be matching their distance, it could be trying to hold the same average watts throughout, or their split time. Their finisher is their choice of either the hammer curl for 30 seconds alternating, or an all-out row for 30. That's the 2G. When we look at the 3G, we're gonna see 2 blocks on the treads and on the rowers, and then on the weight floor, it's 1 big block. So looking at the treads first, blocks 1 and 2 start with the same buy-in. So they'll have a 1-minute push into a 1-minute base. After that, we're gonna see the 1 minute and the 45-second all out. So in block 1, 1 minute all out, 1 minute walk recoveries, 3 rounds. Block 2, 45 all out, 1 minute walk recoveries. So same idea as in the 2G. In block 1 with the all outs, can they maintain or increase within the block? When they move to block 2, because the all out is shorter, their all out should be more intense than the way it did in block 1. And then can they maintain that new one, or can they even build off of that? With the rower, block 1 is going to be a 20-stroke push row. Check their distance, remember it, and they're going to do reverse lunge with bent arm, torso rotation, 6 on each side. So they'll step back on one side, rotate, they'll do that for 6 times, step back on the other leg, rotate the other direction for 6 times. I like to have people check their distance after they do their med ball exercise, so that way it accounts for the carryover. And then when they hop back on for their 20 strokes, tap new interval, match that distance or beat it with their 20 strokes in the carryover. Block 2, 10-stroke all-out row. So the all-out could be from increased leg drive, not necessarily a faster stroke rate, so just more pressure through the foot plates to help increase those watts, to make sure it feels very uncomfortable. And then they're doing the squat hold alternating halo. So the med ball is going to start here, core is braced, elbow comes up, med ball comes behind, and then back, and then the other direction. They'll do 12 total reps before they repeat that. And then, for an option there, they could just do that stand-in instead of in that squat hold. The main thing here is, even though it's an all-out row, it's about being intentional with each stroke to maximize distance. So once again, all-out leg drive, but not all-out stroke rate. On the floor, it is block 1 from the 2G. So they'll see the same 3 back-to-backs. They'll complete 2 rounds of the first one, move to the next one for 2 rounds, and then the last one for 2 rounds. Same bonus, repeat everything as 1 big block. And then the finisher is to increase intensity for the final 45. So whatever they're doing, they just keep doing it, working their way through. So they'll probably be on a movement, and the goal is just to finish that movement in those 45 seconds. That's the 3G for September 17th. As always, any feedback, thank you. Let me know. You could DM me in GroupMe. You could leave a comment on these YouTube videos. And that's all I got. Thank you again. Appreciate y'all, and coach it all down.